Hi, welcome back. So, today we are talking about something almost every artist struggles with at some point, and that is hair. And honestly, hair looks scary only until you understand a few simple things. So, don't worry, we're not drawing 1 million tiny strands. We are going to break it down into easy shapes, flow, light, and texture. So, grab your pencil or tablet and let's start. So, I have already started with the basic head shape, and after that, we will move to the next chapter one by one. So I will be showing three main hair types, that is straight hair, wavy hair and curly hair. So our first chapter is volume and shape. Before anything else, always start with the overall shape. Think of hair like a big soft foam sitting on the head. Like for example, straight hair, imagine long simple shapes, kind of like long triangles or ribbons falling down. For wavy hair, use gentle S curves, nothing complicated, just simple flowing shapes. You can use S or inverted S shapes for that. And lastly, for curly hair, don't start drawing spirals, just block out fluffy rounded shapes first. So the key is hair has volume and it doesn't sit flat on the skull, so leave a little space, and that's the main key for it. Next chapter we have hair types. So for that I have put some examples that you look up to. For example, straight hair falls smoothly and wavy hair has some rhythm. So look at this and try to understand. Next, direction and movement. Hair always has a direction. It follows gravity, wind and whatever the character is doing. So normal standing pose hair just falls down with a straight curve, and then drawing few arrows in this direction helps you understand where the hair goes. So always think where is the hair pulled and where is it falling. So our next chapter is stray hairs and ends. Basically the ends of the hair add so much personality and often describes the character's accents. So for straight hair ends, let them taper to a point, like one clean stroke. For wavy ends, let the curve open at the bottom, and for curly ends, just small loops or shapes, kind of shapes. And you can also add spiral shapes just like this, but don't overdo it, otherwise it will look so messy. So next chapter is drawing hair. So this is very important step because you are finalizing the hair strokes with some thin lines and stroke lines, where it defines how hair is falling and what the character is doing and everything about the character and her accents and her environment. So take time here and draw a few stray hairs and ends, and just to keep the overall vibe of the character. So here I am using the three steps that we have already learned about drawing hair. Like I have added few lines, few stray hairs, and also I am adding ends of the hair. Basically we are using all the techniques that we are learning in the process. So moving to the next chapter, that is lighting and rendering. And trust me, it's the most important part because lighting is what makes hair actually look like hair. So here we will use the theory of shadow and highlight. You should know where should we put shadow and where we should put highlight, because here we are using the theory of hair types, like different hairs or different hair types reacts differently with the light. Also different hairstyle reacts differently with light. So further I will show some hairstyles also, like how to render and how to draw, and you will get to learn about it very deeply. So follow the process. Like for straight hair, use one or two long highlight that follows the curve of the head, and that's enough. And after that you can darken your shadows to give it more depth, and I personally like it to give more depth to the hair, just to enhance it a little more. And that's it for the straight hair. And next we will move to the wavy hair. So break the highlight into smaller curved sections for each wave that gets into its sign. Like we have already learned about shadow and highlights, how to put it in the previous chapter, and just use it and draw the shadows and highlight strokes. Mostly we don't draw highlight strokes. Even if we draw in the end. So for right now we only draw these shadows and just smudge it to give it a flawless effect. And after that, sometimes we add the highlight strokes over the hair shape just to define few strokes, and that makes the hair look so real. And as you can see, I am using a dark colors to define it more. So for curly hair, put small highlights on the top of each curl and draw small shadows, because unlike straight hair, curly hair is much more texturized, right? So it has a lot of textures and it has a lot of flow of hair, and also it has a lot of depth. So you have to take time for curly hair just to draw a lot of shadows and small amount of highlights, and that's really important. And sometimes curly hairs looks a little messy, and that's the beauty of it. So don't worry about how this can be so much messy, right? Here's I will say, remember highlights so the shape, so follow the hair's flow, not just random lines. Before I finish this section, I want to talk about something small but super important, the tiny stroke lines I added here and there to enhance the hair. These are not stray hairs, these are not highlights, they are just soft guide strokes that make the hair look richer and more finished. But here is the tip. Only add these strokes in the direction of the hair where it naturally moves, and don't put it randomly, otherwise it will look messy or confusing. Okay, so now I want to show you how all these techniques, shape, texture, direction, stray hairs, lighting, everything works for the real hairstyle. So let's start with these curly half off half down style with some bangs, and you don't need a very big plan for that. Just use all the learnings that you have learned. So start with the shape and volume. For this one, I first blocked out the top section, the part of hair that's tied. Then for the lower half, I created a big fluffy outline just to show the flow of the hair. Here is also a small tip, like if you get the silhouette right, for the curly hair already looks like 70% done. So everything else is just texture and just the light and shadows. So here you take the most time and just try to draw the silhouette first. Then drawing the bangs, the long curly bangs needed their own separate shape. So I made sure they had a nice curved flow coming toward the face, but still kept that fluffy curl rhythm, right? When drawing curly bangs, don't make the curls perfect. Imperfection is what makes them feel alive and real. So next, adding curl clusters. Once the big shapes were ready, I went inside and added curl clusters. Not spirals everywhere, just little C curves grouped together to show the texture. And here you should remember, curly hair is drawn in clusters and not in strands. So next we will move to the direction and movement. The lower curls fall down with gravity, but I let them bounce outward a little, because curly hair never falls perfectly straight, right? Next, I added highlights only on the top facing parts of the curls, and curly hair reflects light in small patches, not long streaks. So I used tiny crescent shapes to show shine. And we are almost done with the this hairstyle, and I am doing it very roughly so that you can learn the basic learnings. Next, we will move to the wavy hair with two-sided braid hairstyle. Now this hairstyle is completely different. Wavy hair with two-sided braids, and this one is perfect for showing how flow and structure work together. Blocking the wavy hair first. Before touching the braids, I sketched the wavy hair as two large S-shaped sections on both sides, and this gives the hair its natural flow. And for a small tip, waves look best when you vary the size of the curves. If every wave is the same, it looks artificial. So draw with a little more variations, and that will look so beautiful. Next, drawing the braids, then I added the two-sided braids. I always start with a simple tube shape and then wrap the braid pattern around it. And to keep it easy, think left over right and right over left, and that pattern repeats all the way down. And because her hair is wavy, the braids don't fall perfectly straight either, they follow that gentle curve. And using stray hairs properly, I added a few tiny loose strands escaping from the braids, and because no braid stays perfect in real life, and in a wavy hairstyle, stray hairs help show softness and realism. And it's very important to know about hair types and hair flows, and most importantly the lighting and shadow. That's really very important, so learn about it and try to use it after you learn it. Next, we will cover the light and shadow on braids. So braids have their own lighting rules. Each section has a highlight on top and shadow underneath in the corner of these braid tips. So for this, the base hair is wavy and the highlights are not super straight, so they follow the small curve of the braid. And here is the pro tip: add a little extra shine where the braid bulges outward, and that kinda makes it look 3D, and that really looks very beautiful and also looks natural. So we are almost done with the both hairstyles, and lastly I will draw the other braid, and that's it, we're done. Honestly, once you understand these basics, you can draw any hairstyle no matter how complex it looks. And trust me, the more you observe real hair and actually break it into shapes, the easier it becomes. So that's it for today. See you in the next video. Bye.